Good evening and welcome to Speak Up Club's Saturday night special. It's not being numbered because we had officially closed the Saturday nights for the Speak Up Club of 2022, but this was a session which had to happen. This is a ritual that I've been following for the past few years, wherein it becomes important for us to look back at the year that has gone by and to see what all has transpired. More than the New Year resolutions about what is going to come up in the next year, I like to stare back at what all has happened in the last 1 year, because that is for sure going to give us an indication about how far you have come, what are the mistakes that you have made. Because more than the promises that you make, it's your actions that speak about what went right and what went wrong. And that's where the possibility of reflections come in. So today's session is going to be a session not just about the lessons or the serious part, but it's going to be a session about life, and specifically your life in 2022, because that's what is going to teach you and tell you where you are headed for 2023 and beyond, not just for 1 year, but 2023 and beyond. When we look back, I've always told this to people. If you want to move forward, look back. Don't stay back, but look back, because the future will be questions, but the answers that you'll be getting will be from what you'll be reflecting, from what you see when you're looking back. Because it talks about the actions, it talks about the patterns that are in play while you have been living them. We often talk of dreams, we often talk of many things that are wishes that we want to happen, but the answers, whether that will come true or not, lies in when you look back of what you have done. And that's what we want to do with this specific session, which I've titled as Adios 2022. Adios is a Spanish word which means goodbye or farewell. And it's very important to have good closures, because that's the answer where your openings will start to happen when you look back and see the lessons that you learned in 2022 and the things that you need to be grateful for. So with that, let me ask each one of you all, have you reflected on the 5 questions that I shared in the chat yesterday? The reason why I gave those questions beforehand was because of the simple fact that while I ask you impromptu right now, it could be hard for your memory to gather back the entire year and find the right answer. Most of us, while we pass through the days, we do not realize that the years are passing by. Whatever your age is, just reflect on the year you were born and take off the starting 4, 5, 10, depends on your age. Take off a few years, because that's where the memory that you might not reflect or might not remember specifically about. But if I were to ask you, in the years that have passed by, do you realize how far you have come? I'm not talking of the aging that you have gone through, but have you actually reflected on who you have become? Because the answer lies there. To begin with, let's begin with the first question for today, which I shared in the group. The first question is about, what is that one goal which at the start of 2022 you thought you wanted to accomplish, and you're proud today that you did it? But the more important answer for that I want you to reflect is not the fact of what happened, of what made it happen, because that will unlock the doors for you for the future. Let's begin with whoever wants to share their first answer. What accomplishment did you have in this year and why it happened? Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah, this question in my sleep also, if anyone asks, straight away I can say that, because it's a big change in my career, which actually from past 2 years I'm trying for that. Last year, it's my peak. I have given my best. Fortunately, it happened on 2021 December 30, the same day, but 1 year before. I started a new career there. And what happened to happen this goal means, if I analyze, I mean, as earlier I also mentioned, when I asked this question, then only I got the valuable answers or whatever the feedback from my side only. The thing is, till then, I mean, when I get this job, before that, I feel like, that is a little bigger goal or bigger achievement or financially, whatever it is. am I capable, or maybe it may kills all my personal time and all those different questions. But once I achieved it, now still I'm feeling the same. Like I didn't feel like much. After getting like around 90% for hike or whatever in my financial situation, still. But in fact, little bit I'm giving little more time to family, and because and my thinking also I have to do something more or learn something other skill, something like that. So that achieving the goal is given me this much of like a clarity that no, don't think that if you are achieving more means it is killing our time or it's a big burden to ourselves. So that lesson I learned and I don't forget this.
Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Because don't wait for me to ask, folks. It's time for us to reflect and let's move forward faster. Because you're on mute.
I'll come just after one or two.
No issues, no issues. Yep. Uma ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah. So one goal that I wanted to achieve was I always wanted to become a public speaker, outstanding public speaker. And I always made efforts towards that. Participated in a lot of competitions, table topics in Toastmasters, and also in some Capshine platform as star speaker. So I got the confidence slowly. And then last year also I had participated in Success Gyan Super Speaker Contest. This year also I was surprised to be one among the top 1,000, among around 2,25,000 participants. So I was really surprised to have been selected and felt that I could make some impact in other people's lives. So I realized that if you keep trying, definitely you can do it. And over the years, we have to keep polishing ourselves to become better and better day by day. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed a scale up that we have seen in you in the 2 years that we have known each other. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that. Rabia.
Yeah. Actually, if you say me about the goal, there was no goals as such as what I stopped thinking about much from the time there are so many setbacks I had in my life. But the one thing which I can see I have become successful in achieving is that I have changed myself in due course of time. Because I was oversensitive, I was too emotional, I was used to fall for many things as such, small things maybe. It's related with my relations as such, you can call it to be. But whatever now things are happening, I'm just taking it easy. Just like that song, I started making myself take it easy policy. So I used to listen, I used to know about the things earlier too, but I never used to practice them. But now I started practicing and I just feel myself a change in me on its own because it's due course of time, I can say, or the life has taught me the lessons by which I just learned that just take it easy and keep moving on.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
Thank you,
Thank
Rabia. Again, I would like to mention over here to everyone from what life has, what all we have gone through in the past 2-3 years. I think if you have survived through 2022 also, that's an accomplishment. Do not feel that, okay, he has done that, he has done that. The entire idea here is that even if you have survived through 2022, that's a win. Please keep that in mind. So it doesn't have to be something extraordinary that you have to be sharing here. It's just a reflection of what all you've gone through. And despite all that things, if you've come through here, sitting here on 30th night and talking to us, you have gone through the year very well. Thank you. Who's coming up next? Thank you, Rabia. Who's coming up? Akansha, go ahead.
Yeah, so like you just shared, that was exactly what I was going to share. I never had a goal to begin with, except for this one thing. I only wanted to make it through this year because it might sound weird to you being able to see it through this year properly. Just get through it no matter what life throws at me. And I'm telling you, it hasn't been easy. I did have bad days, but bad days doesn't mean a bad year. So I've had fun.
Interesting. Thank you, Akansha, for sharing that. Vikas, go ahead.
So as such, I didn't have very outstanding accomplishment, as you said, like as such we are living and that's an accomplishment. But yeah, one thing I really want to mention here is like I had a desire to have a new habit in me and with others, that consistent reading habits. So this is something which is just a desire with me from a long time, which I could not accomplish, and I took a challenge that I will mentor a particular group uh, without any expectation, and I have done that. And as I did it, there are 100 plus participants, but only a few could do it. But I could definitely do it because I have set the goals, and I have accomplished because I'm accountable there. So I feel that okay, I made some difference in my life and tried my best to bring some difference in others' life, and that's worth of kind of a habit that I really desire.
Interesting. Thank you, Bikash, for sharing that. I love the point about the accountability part of it, which is what sometimes drives us towards doing things, because there are days when if I'm all by myself, there will be times when I will take the shortcut. That's a possibility. Thank you for sharing that, because AJ, consistent AJ, go ahead.
This year is the most valuable year in my life, most valuable year, because in this year I have got a purpose of my life. Last year I haven't any purpose. I was thinking that what will I do in my life, but this year I have started that journey, that speaking journey from the February, and I have completed 360 plus session till now, and I'm recognized now as a consistent person also because of those sessions. So this is a big achievement for me, and because of you now, every time whenever I join any session, I just rename myself consistent AJ. So you just teach me this thing also. So that's why this year is very beautiful, very most valuable session for me, most valuable year for me.
Thank you, AJ. I still remember that wonderful session that where you invited me for the group of people that you address, and you invited me for a talk there. I think that's where I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible. One thing also I want to
Sure,
share
go ahead.
related to it. Actually, last year when I had started 30th June, I think 2021, when I had started my spoken English journey, learning spoken English journey first. At that time, I have no idea, but I told everyone that within 6 months I will start my training journey also. I told everyone, many people, but I had no idea. But what happened? After 6 months, really, I had started my journey, training journey. And how it happened, I'm also astonished till now. That one person actually gave me the chance. He himself came to me, and he just collected two friends also, and he offered me money, and I had started the journey. So it's a goal, I think. Subconsciously, it's achieved. This goal has achieved.
Wonderful. Thank you, AJ, for sharing that. We have Mithali is there, or she's left? Okay. Nandana, Sri Krishna, you're left.
Yeah, I won't say it's a goal, Rahul, nor do I say that it is limited to 2022, but something that actually calls me is growth, especially in the genre of mind, body, and spirit. So anything which allows me to learn, and every time being present in that particular moment and seeing every particular situation or an event as a chance to learn or to grow or to take some particular experience from it and become a reformed or a refined person. I think that is something that's been calling me for years now, and then it's still with me. So I won't say that it is something that I have learned in 2022, but then yes, it has made me a little more conscious, and yes, it has evolved me in a much better fashion, I can say. Yeah, 22, because maybe we had lots of time, to do that introspection or to do that reflection. So that time was there and the resources were available. So yeah, that way it has been better. But otherwise, that particular that particular kida bolte hai na, so that was always there. Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you, Nandana, for sharing that. I think that's the word. We had this time and space to reflect and get deeper, and you found the answer to get back to where you want to be. Sri Krishna?
Yeah, to be honest, good evening, everyone. To be honest, I didn't have like a particular goal to achieve. Like for me, it was nothing like that. But one thing I would say is this I am working in Wipro, everyone knows it. So this is my first job. So to getting adjusted with the corporate atmosphere, it's very different from what is in college. And to be specific, in 2022, a return to office started. So it's an entirely new atmosphere. So I kind of got used to it. So in that way, I would say that this is a very different atmosphere, and that's something I have achieved. And another thing is, everyone knows I am a stock market investor. So beyond stock market, the thing is, now I started focusing on macroeconomics. See, I am a commerce student basically. So all the topics like physical policy, monetary policy is formulated by RBI. We learn it, but we don't have that practical approach while implementing things. So, and I also learned about repo rate, reverse repo rate, because in right now due to inflation, RBI has been rising interest rates. It's a common news. I think everyone knows this fact. So how does it impact stock market? So while doing this, I feel that the approach is practical. And in Tamil, there is a Tirukkural. I mean, Uma ma'am will say it perfectly. Katka kasadara katrade katrapin nirka adarku taga, which means learn it, learn it perfectly, and practically implement it. So I feel that now learning all macroeconomics, I'm practically implementing my degree. So that is something achievement, I would say. That's
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Sri Krishna, for sharing that. You have moved from the classroom to the real world. I feel that's the thing that has been changing for you. Dinesha, are you there?
Yes, Rahul sir. I am
Yes,
not
go
able
ahead.
to switch on the video, but
No
I
problem.
can able
Go
to.
ahead. Go ahead quickly.
Sir, one achievement or even goal accomplishment I would say is that in my Facebook or all social media platform, I put tagline as enjoy every minute. That is a tagline. I could able to like accomplish that. If I go
Interesting.
back after putting your question, first question, I gone back like my memory is like not up to the mark, but I can go back to my social media, Facebook or YouTube videos, what and all happened. I could able to recollect all the memories. I have satisfied with 2022 with the way. And one more thing, one gentleman told like there are 10% of people will make videos or even create a content, and 90% will use that content. But when it comes to me, I started creating my whatever it comes to my mind at that situation. I'll capture, I'll put it as a content or video, I'll put it across in my status or social media. That is one thing I am very much satisfied. That is the one thing I can say.
Interesting.
And I will take it to the next level in 2023.
Thank you, Dinesha, for sharing that. Hi, Rahul. Good to see you here today. Welcome. I'm not sure where he's joining us today from.
No, actually, yeah.
Where are you joining us from, Rahul?
Yeah, I'm joining from Dubai right now in Dubai.
Interesting, because every time I have to ask him, because even while we are speaking, possibly he could be shifting countries because he's on the go always, and we don't know where he's joining us from. Thank you, Rahul, for joining us. Any one moment that you'd say that the one goal that you achieved, and what was the main reason that helped you achieve it in 2022?
Calmness, frankly speaking, calmness. That was what I achieved, and what I learned. Definitely, nothing goes wrong. Whatever you do, it's all about how you take the life. That's what I understood from this 2022.
Interesting.
And that's the point. That's why I'm here in Dubai, as I said. Actually, I shifted from the sailing career to the soul career, and now working for a Russian company which called as Lukoil. And so
interesting. Thank you, Rahul, for sharing that. Yes, as for me, I think for me the biggest accomplishment would be after I completed 100 sessions of Speak Up Club, I wasn't sure where I was going, but I had in mind that I had to keep going. That's something that I had in mind. And from 100 to reaching to 125 was what I felt was the accomplishment for me. And that was driven by the fact that I reached 100. The driving force was that if I can come to 100, people often give up that, okay, you'll always see that in cricket, when you see the matches, most people who get a century get out in the next 2 to 3 runs. That's because they feel that they've come to that level and they let go or leave or just relax themselves. And that's where it hits back. And my entire thing was, I was so drained out by the time I reached 100. There was a time where I literally wanted to have a break. I wanted to stop and do everything. But then I set a goal for myself that I want to continue this till 125, and then let's see where we want to take it forward. And that's what I felt. The learnings from the first 100 sessions helped me move and continue it till 125. That was my thing about the goal, which I'm proud of, and what has helped me in that. Let's move to the next important question. That one goal that you thought you wanted to achieve, but could not. And why, if you can share. Let me begin with that. One thing that when I began 2022 was I wanted to begin my Instagram journey, being an influencer or whatever title that you want to give for people who are able to share their content or become visible in the public eye through Instagram. I had 2 attempts at it, one in February and March when I started with this journey, and then again stopped because I was tired and there was a kind of a fatigue as a result of going alone and with the company or with the partnership with someone. And then again, I restarted it in August with again another rush of ideas or how I want to go about it and all those things. Then by the time I came to 125th Saturday night and there was a lot of other things happening, I had to stop again. So you would see that there were 2 months of consistent content and then again 2 months of consistent content and then again stopped. One thing which I felt was I was going overboard with the expectation of how it is going to be result. I was more than the process in which I was creating content and why I was creating that content. It became about the results, reviewing of results, reviewing and perfecting of those videos, looking at the results and constantly being tagged to the content and how it is reaching. Is it going viral? Is it working out? Is it not working out? Was something which I learned to let go of, and as a result, let go of this goal of becoming an influencer in 2022. I have other plans, but yeah, that's where I felt it was a setback for me or a step back from what I wanted to having a clarity of why I wanted. So that was about me. Who would like to come up next? Anyone? Yes, Bikash, go ahead. After that, Madhu.
Again, not very specific to the usual goals, but yeah, it's a journey, it's a process. However, I wanted to perfect in that process. It's basically a spiritual process that I am undergoing, and there are certain practices that we follow. And when we follow that practice, we get some realization or some feeling or experience. There actually I wanted to excel by following the process very consistently and in the way that is recommended, which I could not do it, which I have little bit of regret, and I have an aim that I will definitely do it properly in 2023 and get the feeling level. Like I need to upgrade myself to the feeling level wherein I can like transcend more easily. Thank you.
Thank you, Bikash, for sharing that. Madhu, go ahead. I request everyone to make it a little quicker so that we can have at least covering the 5 questions that we wanted to. Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah, which I wish to complete 2022 year, and I'm not able to finish is the weight loss which I expected. So it is happened, but the problem is before the year I reduced a very good amount of kilos, but later somewhat it missed due to other focus on career and all those things. But there is some logic is there, emotional eating, and when we have other challenges, that's a problem I have seen in many people also, but my side also that is a challenge I face. But from past 3 months again, I'm just one experience I wanted to share is people every time whenever they want to reduce the weight, they focus in the short term. But it may happen, but again, they'll bounce back, or at least they'll come back to the original, because the consistency and first of all, your lifestyle has to change, not the you're eating less or doing more exercise. No, everything has to be balanced and consistent, and your thought process also has to change. Not like these 3 months I don't eat non-veg. No, it's not like that. It won't work. With practical experience, your lifestyle has to change. I'm not saying stop completely eating those things, and no, but the way we are thinking about our food habits also has to change. That is a big lesson. But yeah, still I haven't achieved my goal, but still in the process. Yeah, that's one thing I have to share.
Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Chetan? Like Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah. What I have thought earlier in this year, actually, I need to be very good in communication, very good at communication. But what I expected, it's not happened. Still, I'm learning, a lot of learnings there. So that's what I felt actually. Yeah, thank you.
Got it. Thank you, Ellen, for sharing that. Sri Krishna or Akanksha, Chetan, anyone, go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Sri Krishna,
So,
go ahead.
One goal which I thought I want to achieve, one is content creation, I would say. So I started with like 2 or 3 videos, simply basically, but I felt that it didn't come the way I expected it to come. But in that way, I feel that I lost motivation in that. करेंगे हमसे नहीं होगा, and I felt that in this thing I gave up a bit earlier on this. So it is a miss. I would completely agree. There is a mistake from my side as well, because I could have pushed it. जो लोग सोचेंगे भाड़ में कुछ भी सोच लो बोल के, I should have posted it in Instagram. So my idea was that actually, I have a Instagram profile from past like 4 or 5 years, but I'm not at all using it. So हाँ है, Instagram है तो है. So that thing I feel that I missed in 2022. Hopefully in 2023, if I get back that motivation, I will try to achieve that.
Interesting. Thank you, Sri Krishna. Dinesha, go ahead.
So 22, I had a plan of earning passive income in a different source. So I took one course to becoming a digital coach. Launch my own course. It didn't work out. So there are so many other challenges. That is the one goal I set, but could not able to achieve it.
Interesting. Uma ma'am, anyone else? Nandana, Rahul?
Yeah, a few things actually. Actually, many things, but then I think
That's
I'll
okay.
limit
Top
myself
one.
to
Top
one or
one.
two. Yeah, one thing, Rahul, this might sound really weird, but then, I really do not want to live in the present, because I have been wired to be like this. I mean, it's not a conscious effort on my part. It's just that I live in the moment so much that my past has never bothered me, nor have ever looked into the future, But then sometimes this actually restricts, when you could learn so many things from the past, or when you could actually look into the future and plan or strategize and all. So I think I'm not built that way. So this is something that I really love, wherein I really do not live in the present, and then actually I get to live in the past or in the future, something that I'm really looking forward to, because for years I have lived this way. And my family, they just go crazy around me thinking, can you please stop being in the flow so much? You never think about the future. You're never worried about the past. Okay, so it's like that with me. So yeah, that's one aspect of mine wherein I'd want to change, I think. Yeah, something you said?
I think I was just wondering that this is a possibly of what you're thinking of it as a negative thing. Many people might be wanting this.
No, I say it because I see so many things,
I understand. It's just that
me.
we have to see
For
that
me,
in a
let me
different
tell you,
light.
I enjoy. Let me
Being
tell
in
you,
the
I
present in
enjoy,
itself
I
can't be the
thrive in it,
curse.
but then might not always be good enough for the people around me,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So
it. I agree on the extremity of it, but I think still people would want to have a problem like this. I feel in that way though. Anyways, yeah, let's move to the next person.
Trust me. Yeah, I mean, if you get in that zone for a few periods, okay, that is good. But if you live your constant life in this particular period, in this particular way, the people around you might really think, might really go bonkers, I would say, at times.
I
So
know.
not
If
really good.
I'm,
I would not.
if I'm on the receiving end of such a person, then I could be having a challenge. But yeah, I agree on the point that you're saying. And isn't it a case? Isn't it
Yeah.
a case
So
that
that's
it is
one
like
thing.
this?
That's one thing, Rahul.
I think the point
Yeah.
that you mentioned is
Another
about
thing,
the
yeah.
extremity, more about the extremity than what you're specifically doing. In itself, it's
Correct,
not a
correct.
bad thing, but yeah, you need a balance, is all what you are wanting to look at.
Yeah, you
So,
need a balance, right? Moderation in every aspect of life. Yeah. But
got
then
it.
this particular thing, because I'm in that zone most of the time, in fact, not most of the time, all the time. Yeah, moderation is what that I'm looking at. Because what happens, Rahul, is this actually leads me to the second limitation of mine, which is, you do not pursue anything. It's like you are in that particular, it's like you live in the ideas, when you live in the ideas, that consistency is not there in your life, wherein you just pursue, or you get into the depth of one particular idea, or you get into the depth of one particular topic, and then you want to see the end of it. That particular ambition or competitiveness is not there, because I just love the idea part of it, but then the action part of it, the doing part of it, it's like, oh no, yeah, let's leave it for someone else. So that is actually something where I usually do not go, or I go only when I'm forced to. So yeah, maybe that's one thing that I'd really love to see myself doing.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, Nanna, for sharing that. Chetan, go ahead.
There are many goals to be achieved in 2023, which I couldn't achieve in 2022.
So it's like the load has been carry forwarded.
Yes, carry forwarded. It's half done. Few things are half done. So I'll get it done in 2023.
Interesting.
Being teacher, my first goal would be to reach maximum students, gather maximum students.
I remember. We have talked about this almost a year and a half ago.
Yes. Still
I know.
Health related.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, Chetan, for sharing that. Who else is left? Anyone? AJ, go ahead, quick.
I wanted to take a webinar, but within 2023, I will definitely take the webinar.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I've always felt, I'm not sure, depending on the scale on what one is operating, I've always felt webinar is far less effective when it comes to a personal bonding for you and as a community. But obviously, depends on the scale. If today we are talking of 14 people, instead of 14, if you would have had like 100 people right now, I would have done it in a webinar format only rather than the Zoom or the community that we are having.
No. Actually, I'm not talking about that kind of webinar. I want to take a webinar like Govind Vadalkar said and sell my courses.
Okay, interesting. Okay, launch it in that way. Got it. Interesting.
Launch it.
You will be. So you're already doing a part of it in a different format. But yeah, I think that's the future. If you keep scaling up or be consistent as you are written, I think that's the next step up. That's what you want to see. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Uma ma'am?
Yeah, I wanted to start my webinar, like Jay said, launch it in a huge scale, and I had invested some money also for that, but somehow it didn't get through. But I thought, why not help a few other platforms as a mentor? And I have started that. So that is giving me some satisfaction. Maybe I'll go in a big way in 2023 or help people as a mentor. That is also fine.
Interesting. Different formats of what your purpose is and you're trying to accomplish that. Maybe changing the modes and the means in what your end goal is. It's also a good way to look at it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to share anything? Then we can move to the next question. Okay, let's move on to the next question. One moment or story, but please keep the story short because we are already at 9:50.
So I think Rabia ma'am wanted to share something.
Rabia, you're there? Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead, Rabia, because I'm not able to see you raise your hand. Go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to be a fashion designer as well. That is like a passion of mine. So I just have started with working on that particular thing, but I couldn't give much time. But it's my plan that I should fulfill and complete that task in 23, if God's willing. Thank you.
Interesting. I'm wondering about your students in the classroom while they're going to see you in the fashion designing part. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Behind the scenes, not on stage.
That's okay. Somewhere it has to be also marketed, right? We'll use that stage. We'll use that platform. Let's move to the next part. One moment or story of 2022 that you'll never forget. So possibly in 2040, when I'm going to ask you, what do you remember of 2022? What's going to be that one thing? It can be one word, one line, one short story. Go ahead, Ellen.
Yeah, I supposed to give one session. So that time it will get affect the other person more than me. I supposed to prepare, right? Preparation, actually suddenly I went trip. So how the old movie, you know, right? That sea will stop, animal will stop, and everything that earth also it will stop like that. So same thing happened to, actually I supposed to give one session. So all they got stuck. They can't have food and they supposed to crash that kitchen, that one. Again, kids also not had, all they not had. Again, towers also not there. 3 to 4 towers, we are connected, different recharged and kept ready. Suppose this is not working, Airtel, Jio will go, Jio is not working, BSNL, like that. That session, actually, I more than me, my wife and others, my friend, family, they will not forget. One village, that is living section, one session. That very awesome thing, more than me, my friends. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I think these are stories that are going to stay for a long time. Thank you, Ellen, for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Yes, Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a positive thing, but it's a realization thing part. As I mentioned, to achieve my bigger goal, their unfortunate gap has come, at least around 30 or 40 days. That is very challenging days. I have to kick up myself is with the 100% or more than 100% efforts. At the same time, psychological problems or some pressures, tensions, everything will come. That actually, I don't know how I managed it, but I haven't shouted on anyone and I haven't showed on it, but coolly, by God grace, that went, that phase very went. But that stage, how I gone through, I know that is the part, I never forgot in 2022.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Madhu, for that. Who's coming up next? Dinisha, go ahead.
Sir, one thing, this situation I will not forget, like you said, even after 40 years also. As you all know, my son is using my wife's cell phone, and he's claimed himself like that is his phone. Most of the time, like even 90% you only use it. One fine day, what happened? He was using the phone. Almost it is 11:30 p.m. I told him stop using. What he will say, if I instruct him, he will take 5 minutes, Dad. But on that day, I was in a different mood. I told him immediately, I grabbed that phone from his hand. Immediately, he was not happy with my reaction. He was upset and he said, no one should get a dad like you. You are a bad dad. And on that day, I was interacting with some other colleague. He said, cell phone, the children will feel like that's also one of the part of their body. All of a sudden, I grabbed it. It was like completely emotion. That word, even after me, till my last breath, also I'll remember this incident. That is like a story I could able to recall now.
Dinisha, how old is your son?
5 years.
Don't worry. You have more of examples to come very soon. I think you can talk. You will have a lot of things. You'll forget this. Literally, I'm telling you, in 2040, you won't remember this. You'll be remembering a lot of other things, which I think for people who have other elder kids will tell you. So don't worry. I have one who's 8, and I can tell you in 5 he told me this, but I don't remember it. I have other things which he told me yesterday. Because that's
you don't remember it, how you are remembering it.
Especially
the parenting journey. So yes, Nandana, go ahead.
You can't be more true than that. It goes on till 18. You get to hear more, especially when they're in the teens. Yeah.
That's the reason. Because so Dinesha, while in 2040 they'll be around, from what I'm assuming, 23, 24.
Okay.
What did you do for me?
Oh my God.
Be prepared for that. Let's move to the next person.
No, you'll become so desensitized you wouldn't mind it at all.
Part and parcel. It's okay. They'll keep telling like that. It's okay. It'll become. You just have to get tuned to it, and it will happen very soon. So it won't matter. You won't remember this. Let me tell you. You'll remember other beautiful things which he said. That's for sure.
The worst part is on that day I cried for almost half an hour.
That's what. So you are still an early parent, I would say.
Yeah.
Because if you're crying for this, I think you are going to ruin your entire year while you turn 20 or while he turns 20. It'll all subside. It'll all subside. All I can say as
Yeah,
a parent
it was
of-
like a great learning for me. I realized and I cried. I would have not done that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. The phone is still okay. You try after 10 years, you try to snatch the girlfriend or something like that. You will get better answers. You get more answers.
Okay.
We'll talk about those stories in the future, surely. Who's coming up
Okay.
next?
Yeah.
Yes, Bikash, go ahead.
Yeah. So in 2022, I got another project along with my current project to manage. And before going there, I have made it clear to the next, the next boss whom I am going to report that I need a break of 3 weeks at minimum. And that will be complete distraction-free break. And he said, yes, that's granted. And I had my real wonderful disconnected time in my favorite place, that is in Mount Abu, and wonderful memories I have really lived, which I can really cherish for a longer period. I don't know 2040 I'll be there or not, but yes, definitely till the time I'm here, I will definitely cherish those moments and the learnings also.
Thank you, Bikash. I think that's a wonderful. These are times I think these stay for a long time. Thank you for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Rahul, go ahead. After that, Nanna, Rahul. Rahul.
Okay.
After
Yeah.
that, Nanna. I'm sorry.
Okay. Actually, just a minute.
Disconnect the audio of that other device.
Yeah, as I said, I had just switched from sea life to soul life, so definitely it's going to be a good part of my life and definitely a cherished moment. Not cherished moment. I mean, obviously, I miss my sea life. That is for sure. But being a little away from the family and isolation of the family, and now coming back to the family life again, or you can say a normal life. However, this is more frustrating, I'll say. But still, yeah. So that's the new thing, which I mean, that's the thing which I really feel going to be like remember in future for sure, because this happens with every mariner who actually switch from and sacrificing a better numbers, which is actually numbers, as I said, and choosing the life with of a normal life with the family. So that's going to be different. And the goal, as you were saying just before, my goal is, as I said, the self-love, being more selfish. That that had changed. Before I was like everybody was saying do this and do that. First I need to love myself. That what I understood now. No doubt afterwards my family, and then definitely whole world is to be served if I love myself first.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Rahul, for sharing that. I think, especially for someone who's changing tracks, like what Rahul just mentioned, moving from one career to another, that year becomes a good inflection point. And maybe in the future, 10 years down the line, you're going to talk about the story of what happened and what all happened after this change. Thank you for sharing that, Rahul. Nanna, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Rahul. Yeah, Rahul, every time as we go through life, we learn many things. But then I think what makes life easy is when we understand, or when we come to that moment of realization, wherein we really understand that this whole life that we are living now is designed by us. Nothing just happens just like that. There's no coincidence at all. So every experience that you experience in life, the major events I'm talking about, the major experiences, the major phases in your life, they are already designed by you. So when this realization hits us, then then life seems so wonderful, so easy to live, and it becomes so easy for you to accept people around you the way they are. You don't try to change people or control people, because then you understand that there are certain teachings that are coming through them to you, which either you are supposed to learn or through you they are supposed to learn. And then life just becomes a play, because there's nothing that can actually trigger you, or nothing that can actually make you become upset. And that is when life just becomes a game for you. And that is when you realize that there are so many proverbs, so many things which actually state the same thing, but you never really understood. So when whether it's a Shakespeare who said that all world is a play, or whether some other person said something which is related to that, then you understand the true meaning or the true depth of it. And then you realize that yes, this is what it is, and you're just here to experience certain things, but otherwise there's nothing that should actually affect you. Yeah, free will is always there, but then that happens when you face an experience and then you decide as to how you want to take it forward, or how do you want to respond to that particular experience. But otherwise, yeah, this is what life is all about, and that just makes it easy and wonderful, you know.
So it all happened in 2022, you're saying, Nandana?
No, it happened long ago.
Interesting. No, that's the reason I was asking, because I'll have to go back to this recording. I'll have to go back to this recording and listen to all that you said, because in itself there was so much realization that you had, and what all you shared was wonderful. But it was so deep. I think I'm not sure how many of others would have connected, because I did personally, because I am a person who's into deep reflection about everything and anything that happens.
Yeah, this is absolutely profound. You know, this is the most, yeah, this is the biggest spiritual truth that all scriptures talk about, because nothing in your life just happens like that. It is all designed by you, right from your name to your parents to your children to everything in your life. Yeah.
Thank you, Nandana, for sharing that. I think I'm going to use that somewhere. Thank you. Rabia, go ahead.
Yeah, in continuation with the same as what just now ma'am has talked about, I have to say the same, that the lesson what we have learned in our life is that just walk our own path, okay? Never fail to try something more which you have to do with. And above all, you can say take care of your health early. That is the lesson which we had learned recently of late, you can say, from the time of pandemic. And make every moment count, because that is what is going to last with us. Live and let live. And instead of saying mind your own business, it's better we say that mind one's own business. That is how it is supposed to be. And if anything you have to say, like if you find something that is nice about someone, always tell them right away, because don't wait until the person's funeral to say all these things which you wanted to think about saying it, because it will be too late. So in the coming year or the next time, you can say, you have to have a positive thought about someone, just say ahead. Go ahead and say it instead of keeping it in your mind. Thank you.
Rabia, I love you.
Thank you.
I love you for the thoughts that you keep sharing. And I didn't want to delay to telling it some other day. Uma, go ahead. And after that, Chetan, if you want to share. Yep. After that, Uma. Chetan. Uma, go ahead.
Yeah, 2022, the unforgettable moment was the loss of my dear son. I never expected that would happen, but then after it happened, I had to accept it. And I realized that life throws challenges to you at many times, and you have to learn to accept it, and you have to bounce back and find out what is your real purpose in life and see what you can contribute to others. Definitely that loss is there. But then, like Nandana ma'am said, everything happens for a reason. And maybe the karmic account is hitting me back. When good things happened, I didn't ask why. So I shouldn't ask now why me this time also. So I have just learned to accept it. I'm moving towards more of spirituality, listening to Bhagavad Gita and trying to get some reasons for this. And
thank you. We have been through, a lot of us have gone through different experiences in the last 2 to 3 years, but the loss that Uma ma'am's was something which did shatter us too. And I think you finding a reason to find a way out of it itself talks about the learnings that you've had. Thank you for sharing that, Uma ma'am. Chetan, go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, here in Pune, it's very difficult. The admission procedure for kids is very difficult. So my 2 kids were in different schools, an ICSE, the other in CBSE. I wanted both to be in ICSE school. So I had to drop my son in his school and then take daughter to her school. So one day it happened like I dropped my son to his class, came back, and by that time security was about to close the door, and he actually closed the door, and daughter was outside. I crossed the fencing, which I never did in my school or college times, and somehow I managed to drop my daughter to her school. After that, I met the principal. I said, see, sir, this is my concern. Why don't you give admission to my daughter? Then they had a meeting and they said, are you ready to take admission midterm? Midterm. I said, fine, sir. Give me the admission. So it was dramatic. I can't forget this thing.
Interesting.
It was dramatic.
Thank you, Chetan, for sharing that. Let me share. I'm a very deep thinker, and I've always appreciated life and experiences in a different way altogether, and with a lot of gratitude about the importance of life. But there was this one incident which happened just a week ago. I was in a flight from Pune to Bhavnagar. Just about 30 minutes into the flight, I'm here right in front of the cabin crew at the fore end of the flight. And suddenly there's a beep. It was a SpiceJet flight, and recently there have been a lot of news about the technical snags and a lot of things which have happened in SpiceJet flights. And there was a beep. There was a beep, constant beep, 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 beep. And we were still around 20 minutes yet to land. And I could see into the eyes of the cabin crew of the panic that she had, not in the behavior, but in the eyes. And she was moving here and around, here and there. To the captain, the call, the exit, emergency exit, checking all the metrics which are there, all in front of me because I was in the first row. Many of them were not even aware of all this happening. And in that 15 minutes, it was a scare of a life. A scare of what is going to happen, whether we are going to land or not. And I asked her, is there some challenge? And still with the calmness that she had, she said, we'll check it once we land. I could gaze the emergency, the kind of a fear that she was experiencing, and yet the calmness with which she replied to me and said, we'll check it once we land. Should not be a problem. All the verticals, all the numbers, and whatever we are seeing, I've even checked with the captain. There's nothing which is seeming alarming, but that voice is still going on. Just about 1 minute before the landing happened, the voice stopped. We were in a SpiceJet, smaller flight, and this was a sound of the alarm of the passenger who was sitting next to me. For those 15 minutes, when I look back at it, I realized what all came to my mind and what all is important in my life, what all I've accomplished and what all am I going to miss. It taught me about having gratitude for what all is there in life. But more importantly, it taught me how are you facing it in that cabin crew's eyes of what all she went through in that moment, in those 15 minutes that the beep was going on, and yet she had the calming demeanor to keep herself calm and be present and be confident that we will be landing and we'll be checking what's happening. The beep sound was of the alarm who was sitting next to me. Just because of the smaller flight and the vibrations being so strong, we could not recognize it is the alarm of this person. And this person easily just woke up and switched off the alarm. And suddenly we were looking what happened. She said, it was my alarm, I forgot to switch it off. This one experience taught me two things. One, about the importance of life. And the second is about how to lead a life. With that, I sign it off there. Anyone else would like to share any other story? This is something that I'm going to remember for a long time because I've always had, how do I give a demonstration of this experience to people that if you're going to die in the next 15 minutes, what are you going to do? I had no practical experience of that feeling, except for the idea that life should be valued. And here I got a live demonstration of what is it to feel that if after 15 minutes, you're not going to be there. And I had that experience. That's the something that I'm going to cherish. The cabin crew's name is Kulpreet Kaur. And I am in admiration of her, of the ability and the calmness that she had. And this entire experience which taught me all about this. Let's move to the last activity for today. Let me have it quick. One word or one line. What are you grateful about the year 2022? One word or one line from all of y'all. And after that, we'll close the session. And we'll be there to share a few other details about 2023. Rabia, go ahead.
I'm alive.
Yes, you're on Zoom, you're alive. We don't have a internet in the heaven.
No, I'm alive still in 22. Next, God knows. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. AJ, go ahead.
Yeah, one line. एक अच्छा एक एफर्टलेस क्लास देने के लिए बहुत ज्यादा एफर्ट लगता है एक टीचर को. This line I have learned from physics for a web series, and I remember this line, I think, till my death. क्योंकि मैं एक टीचर हूँ and I want to become a teacher, and I have learned this thing from there. That एक effortless class ऐसा ही नहीं आता, बहुत ज्यादा effort लगता है उसके पीछे, उसके बाद एक effortless class.
Wonderful, AJ. You talk about the feeling that I have and the experiences that I've had, especially in this last 125 nights that we have had. Vikas, go ahead.
In one word, the learnings and the realizations that I get in the as the life progresses from day to day, I'm really grateful for that, because that teaches a lot and that changes a lot. Changes my life to a different paradigm. Thank you.
Wonderful. As day passes by, we get wiser. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Uma ma'am, quickly, go ahead. Who's next?
Thankful for the support system, family, friends, and relatives.
Interesting. Madhu, go ahead.
I'm every stage of our life we'll enjoy the every stage. Now actually I'm enjoying with my kids. One is 1 year and another is 3.5 years. I mean that's moments maybe after the few years it won't be there. Those kind of things. Those are really very sweet memories. I'm enjoying those things.
Thank you, Madhu. Who's coming up next? Nandina.
Yeah. Rahul.
Rahul, go ahead.
Yeah, love yourself and set your priorities. That's what I feel should be the goal, or can say the line for the next year. For me, at least.
Thank you, Rahul. Nandana, go ahead.
Okay. When you don't understand life, it seems such a mystery. But then once you understand it, it seems such magical and filled with miracles. So yeah, that's life.
Interesting. Dinesha.
All the problems or challenges will come in our life. They'll come with solutions also.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Dinesha. Who's left?
Accept and go with flow.
Go with the flow. Interesting. You find uncharted paths when you go with the flow. Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. Who else is left? Akansha, Sri Krishna, go ahead.
So learnings, whatever I had in this year, like whatever it could be, like working and all. So handling office, handling colleagues in office or explaining anything. So this is also one kind of experience which I never had before. So that's something I would say.
Interesting. Thank you. Akanksha?
I think the one main thing I've learned is life goes on. Whatever may happen, it just goes on. It won't stop. Whatever may happen, something you have a very, very good day, it'll go on. You have a very terrible, the worst day of your life, it still goes on and on.
Interesting. Thank you. And as for me, I think the most grateful things that I've realized in 2022 is the people that I'm surrounded with. There have been instances where I have gone through lows, I have phases where it's been challenging, and I've been grateful for the fact that at every point in time, might not be the same person, but every point in time I had someone whom I could talk to, whom I could share, whom I could find the answers from. And there have been instances where the entire Speak Up Club family has been that, because I've been open. I am like an open book where I express, I share whatever I think. You might have seen there are a lot of plans that I've shared with you all, and then again backtracked also, because it's not that it's a strategy for me or it's a well thought out thing. It's all about being able to express it and having the right people around me. And I feel this entire community of Speak Up Club family that we have had, it's been a blessing to me, and I'm grateful for the kind of moments that we have had and the times that we have shared with each other. Anyone else would like to share anything before we come for a close? And after that, I'll be announcing a few things about 2023. Anyone else? Akanksha, you want to share something that you missed out? Go ahead.
Yeah, it was for the previous question.
Go ahead.
I didn't get the time to answer. So all these network issues that I've been facing.
Go ahead.
So the main thing that there have been a lot of incidents that have happened to me in 2022 that I felt so stuck. I felt like I couldn't go on anymore. Like, that's it. I can't go on anymore. But I did. And I'm here right now talking to everyone. So I think one person I'm most grateful for would definitely be me. Because if you told January me that this all would have happened, I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have opted to come this far either. I would have stopped right there itself. So there have been instances I thought, and I told this, I think I told this in the earlier sessions too. This was a transition year for me from 10 years of school life to a whole different world altogether. Because studying in a convent and an intermediate colleges are two things, something entirely different. And to that transition, I thought leaving school would be one of the best things ever. I'm being very frank with you. I think everyone miss going to their school, but it felt like it was the best thing ever. And I still think it is, but college hasn't been any better. It's been very, very harsh for me because people have been stealing my things, things very personal to me, very close to me. My phone was stolen. I felt like I couldn't, everything would be stuck there itself. And 2 days ago, I had this chat with one of my lecturers. He spoke to me for 1.5 hour. And I think that one conversation with him will change my life forever. I'm telling you, it doesn't happen like in the movies. Someone gives you some dhyan, and the next day, right from the next day, you're all different. No, it doesn't happen like that. It happens gradually. You talk to someone, they give you some knowledge, and you slowly process it. It doesn't, one evening they give you the knowledge, and by the next morning, you're someone entirely different, all waking up early. That doesn't happen. It's not like what is shown in the movies. It is entirely different. It's happening. I can feel it. It's gradual. I've got the confidence because in 2021, if you would have seen me, you would have seen an entirely different me. I was someone entirely different in school. It was like a haze. I'll describe it better.
Akanksha,
It
we
was a
didn't see
haze
you then also.
surrounding
We are not
me.
seeing you now also. You're Akanksha Reddy to us. That's it.
Okay, hi.
Go ahead, quickly.
So there was this sort of haze. I'll describe it better with haze. So it was a sort of haze that slowly lifted as January, February, and as the year progressed. In January, I've had complications with my health, which got real bad. Then things got slowly better, and that was when the graph went down. It went right down. It hit the bottom. And slowly, the graph, one thing I've learned is that it won't be linear. It won't be all in a line, all bad days, all good days. And as I shared in the previous time, bad days don't mean a bad year. That's it. So it's been a nice year, a lot of learning for me too.
Thank you, Akanksha. We had one more question, which was about, but given the paucity of time, we don't have it to take that now. The most valuable lesson. I think we have got in the grateful part of it, the valuable lesson part also. So with that, we come to an end for this session of Adios 2022. I can't say my trademark line because it's not a Saturday, but I'll leave you with what we are going to do in 2023. Like we have already announced in the past, we are beginning with the inner circle club, which is what we have been doing with Speak Up. But the entire idea behind this club is to build in accountability and bring in commitment from all of you all. And so we are moving from the open club that we have been having for the past 125 sessions as of the Speak Up Club to a closed group and a paid subscriber based membership. The entire idea of payment again is not about earning. Of all the stories that you would have earned, the money that we are going to get here is going to be far lesser than what I'm earning right now. But the idea and the purpose behind it is to build in the commitment that we are looking. Now here, I want each one of you all to look into your phones, look into the knowledge that you have, look into your gallery and see for every problem or everything that you have or feeling a challenge today, you have an answer already. So the problem is not about the knowledge. Like Nanda mentioned, the realization or the action part of it is where we are missing. Today, if you were able to accomplish all the things that you shared in 2022 was because there were some strengths which you had in play. And the things which you missed out were because possibly a lack of support or a community which helped you in growing. We were there as a part of this entire 2022, we were there, but we didn't build on an accountability system where we all could push each other, uplift each other beyond the Saturday night 9 p.m. that we were meeting. So what we decided was to work with people who are committed to build about a transformation in their life, and moving into 2023 with every Friday night 9 p.m. one session being there for three Fridays every month, and the fourth one being the open one like we had today. We will be having an open session like we had every month on the 4th Friday, so that people who are not able to join or are not engaged enough to commit to this program, they can still join us, and we'll be meeting them on every 4th Friday. So the fundamental pillars that we'll be working on today, I shared you the structure of what all we have covered in the 125 Saturday nights. It's going to be the professional, personal, and the communication part of it, which we'll be working on and working at a deeper level. Please note, these are not going to be generic programs which are going to be about the gyan and the research and the philosophies. They're going to work on the simple model of action, the idea, action part of it, and the reflection part of it. So every session, what's going to be happening is we are going to learn a few things, or we are going to share our stories. We are going to reflect on what all has happened. And then we are going to have a few, again, activities, not as a homework, but on ideas which you can start working on building that specific idea that we discussed. And then in the next week, in the first 10 minutes, we are going to use the reflection segment to see what changes have come through, what are the transformation or the results that you have seen, and most importantly, if you're not able to get the result, why? This is the reflection segment of it, which becomes very important. I've been doing this segment of reflections very casually until now, because it was all about, there was no focused commitment from each one of you all to build about a transformation. And we're going to focus on one skill at a time with whatever session that we do. It's going to be a range of sessions on personal mastery, professional in your careers, and in about communication. So we are going to have a range of these sessions with specific focus area on development on one thing, one skill at a time for every week. The following session, after the session, the next whole week, the WhatsApp group of the inner club members, inner circle members will be open, where we will be sharing questions, assignments, ideas on that one element only. We are not going to have it like a good morning group, good afternoon group, or sharing forwards and all those things which are non-relevant. It's going to be a focus group where we are going to talk and eat, breathe, think about that one idea that we are learning. And that's how the transformation will be possible, because we are going to be focused on what we are doing for that entire week on that aspect. And the 4th Saturday, which I was talking of, which is going to be open one, we are going to see where we have come, what all have we learned, and use that platform to communicate what all things have we learned in these 3 weeks for those specific sessions which have happened as a follow-up. So that's going to be how this program is going to operate. Think, act, reflect. That's the model that we're going to be working on. And like I mentioned, we are not going away with the charm of what this family looks like. We're going to have a 4th Saturday. If someone is not joining us, they can join us on the free open sessions, which are going to be happening once a month for all of us. But for the remaining ones who are part of the inner club, inner circle club, you will be engaging constantly. Like Madhu said last year, the entire idea is we do not find the circle where we are constantly in a growth mindset, where we are getting opportunities to work on ourselves and grow for ourselves, and a community which is helping us to uplift. So when we focus on one skill, 1 week, we are going to have everyone sharing their stories, everyone sharing their learnings, everyone sharing their changes of follow-up. And we as a community work as a tribe to grow and uplift each other. Here again, I'm not going to focus too much on the gyan part of it, because you all have it. There's no shortage of that. The focus is going to be on the transformation and action part of it, which is what will change your lives. Today, you might be wiser with 125 Saturday nights knowledge, but it doesn't make any sense if you're still suffering on those elements which you already know about. So the 3 things that we'll be starting to do from the next Saturday, next Friday onwards is, first, we'll be journaling whatever you're learning, whatever things that are following up. Again, journaling doesn't mean you have to write essays, even pointers which will act as a reinforcement to yourself of what you're learning and what changes are you committing yourself to. Second, making it purposeful, building accountability within the group of all the members who will be there. We will be building accountability systems where we can achieve our goals specific to that skill by helping each other and becoming accountable to each other. Today, a lot of us, at the start we were talking, a lot of us don't accomplish what we aspire for is because it's all only within us. It's all only within us. And so it's very easy to take a shortcut and fall in our own eyes. To avoid that and to build a system for us to succeed collectively, we are going to use this system. And focus is constantly on awareness, becoming better versions by knowing yourself. Not about too much of yarn, but about becoming what works for you and how you can become a better version. by constant reflection. The entire idea behind this group coaching or these speaker club sessions is going to be going into a state where you know yourself, getting into deep dive into who you are and what works for you and what will help you in becoming whatever you want to be. So when I heard people talking about content creation, like Sri Krishna was talking, or someone else want to do something, Lakshmi, Ellen talking about public speaking, Madhu talking about his career goals, different people, wanting different things. This is going to be a community which is going to help you in knowing yourself better and helping each other grow and achieve whatever we wish to. So I hope the last 7 weeks, which Speaker Club hasn't happened, if you're serious about, if you have had an idea of what you were missing in the last 7 weeks, and if you feel this is something which has added value to me, I would invite you to become a part of the inner circle, which I've already announced the program, and I'll be sharing the kind of the pamphlet which is there about that program again in the group. So if there is anything that you want to ask me, you can ask me now. And even if you're not joining, like I've always said, you are a part of me, and I am, even if you agree or not, a part of you. That's how we have been connected and bonded over this long time of duration that we have been with each other. For whatever reason, if you're still not joining, I'm still there for you. Any questions, if anyone would like to ask? Any questions, anyone, before we close? We have already had 3 people who have become a part of the club. So we have the first member who became the part of the club was Madhu, and we have Uma ma'am and Akanksha who are already part of the club. So next Friday onwards, we are going to begin with the sessions with the ideas which we have. We'll be sharing, like today's session, we had the questions shared so that you could reflect and work deeper on yourself before you join the session. We're going to begin with these programs, the sessions which are going to happen for the next Friday onwards. We'll be beginning the communication from 1st of January onwards. So if you're interested, you can get in touch with me, and that's the thing from my end. Any other questions anyone would like to ask before we close for today? Like I mentioned, yeah, I forgot about the charges. Because for the people who have been a part of Speak Up Club, we have already announced in the past that the normal charges for any new members who will be coming in from 2023 will be 2,500 per month, payable in 3-month period. For the members who have been a part of our journey, we are giving it at 2,000 rupees. I know, and you know, if you have gone through different courses, different coaching, and different people that you have interacted, this is the money which is compared to the other programs where you would have seen the kind of paid program or coaching programs which are, this will be a fraction of what the other programs will be. So it's an amount, it's a commitment for yourself. And if you have seen me work for 125 nights without any money, you can trust, and I promise that there will be a lot more deeper transformation when you commit and when I am in it for it. So any other questions, anyone, before we close for tonight? Because you had something? Okay, I thought you raised your hand.
No, I said that sounds really great, and looking forward.
Sure. Okay. For the payment part of it, you all can get in touch with me on my personal chat, and yes.
I have already. Yeah.
Okay, done. Sure then. Okay then, Rahul, it was good to see you after a long time, and I'm happy to hear about the shift which is there. Yes, I think we are not in a Saturday, but yet I would like to close the session in the way we used to do it, without the number, obviously. All I would say is, thank God it's Friday. That's for the closing of 2022, because Saturday for tomorrow is going to be a different one. And come Sunday, 2023, it's going to be a new year. And I wish each one of you all a happy new year, and looking forward to prosperity, more wisdom, and more joy in your lives. Let me close the usual way. Friday nights have never been this beautiful for the last one Friday night. It's been an honor to be sharing our perspectives, listening to your perspectives, and gaining new perspectives. Thank you for the love that you kept coming back every Saturday and adding life to our lives and to every member of this community. For the ones who are joining us in 2023, welcome, and let's continue the beginning, and let's begin the journey of transformation. For the ones who are not joining us, you can still join us on the 4th Friday of every month to join and witness and be a part of this family. Thank you, and have a good night, everyone.